everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're going to do a deep dive on something that I think a lot of you are probably really interested in, and that is how to stop biting your nails.
Right.
So, I've been reading Dr. Person's book about nail biting, and I found it to be super interesting because it's not just a cosmetic thing.
Oh, absolutely not.
There are actual health reasons to try to stop biting your nails.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest things that Dr. Parsons points out is that, you know, we touch everything with our hands.
Yeah.
So, you know, you think about all of the things that you're touching throughout the day and all of the germs and bacteria that are, you know, on your hands.
Yeah.
And then you're putting your fingers in your mouth and just introducing all of those things into your body.
Right.
And so, you know, you're obviously introducing those germs into your mouth.
Right.
Which can lead to, you know, dental problems, gum problems, even, you know, you can get sick.
Yeah, I mean, he even mentioned, you know, getting infections in your nails.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I mean, that's something that, you know, a lot of people probably don't think about.
Right.
They just think about, you know, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look professional.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also the stomach problems, right?
Absolutely.
Just think about everything you touch.
Oh, it's kind of gross when you think about it, yeah.
And you're just putting it right into your stomach.
Exactly, yeah.
So, okay.
I could too.
So one of the first things that Dr. Parsons talks about is keeping your nails short.
Right.
Now, that seems a little counterintuitive,
Yeah.
right? Because if you don't have any nails, what are you going to bite?
Right, exactly.
Like, what's the point, right?
Yeah.
But I think the idea is that you're, you know, I don't know if this is the right word, but you're tempting yourself.
Yeah, you're not giving yourself as much to bite.
Yeah.
You know, so if your nails are short, there's less there to bite, and so you're less likely to do it.
Yeah.
And you know, that's kind of a, I don't know if you would call that like a psychological thing, but it's like you're making it less appealing.
Right.
To bite your nails because there's just less there to bite.
By surface area, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And it makes sense if you think about it. Like, if you're a guitar player, you probably want to keep your nails short.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because it's going to be hard to play with long nails.
Right.
Or if you're typing, you know,
Yeah.
you might want to keep your nails short.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's just kind of like a practical thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the other thing that he suggests is, I don't know how I feel about this, but it's the bitter tasting nail polish.
Right.
Have you ever tried that?
I have not, but I have heard of it.
Yeah, so you put it on your nails,
Yeah.
and then if you bite your nails, you get this like horrible paste in your mouth.
Yeah, and it's supposed to like deter you
Right.
from biting your nails because it just tastes so bad.
I mean, it seems like it would work, but it also seems like it would be really annoying.
Right. Exactly.
Like you're constantly, you know, tasting this bitter stuff.
And I think that it's, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, if you're really desperate, it might be worth a try.
Right.
But I feel like there are probably other things that you could do
Right.
that would be more effective.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, I think it's more about breaking a habit and kind of replacing it with another habit.
Absolutely.
So he talks about, you know, using stress balls or silly putty or something like that.
Right.
So if you feel like you're going to bite your nails, you have something else to do with your hands.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, you know, I think it depends on the person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, I used to bite my nails.
Okay.
And I found that knitting really helped
Oh, interesting.
because it just kept my hands busy.
Yeah.
But for someone else, it might be something else. It might be, you know, playing with a fidget spinner or something like that.
Exactly.
But I think the key is to find something that works for you
yeah, definitely.
and that you can do, you know, relatively easily. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the next thing that Dr. Parsons talks about is figuring out what your triggers are.
Right.
So why are you biting your nails?
Mm-hmm.
Is it because you're stressed? Is it because you're bored? Is it because you're anxious?
Right.
And I think this is a really important step because if you don't know why you're doing something, it's really hard to stop doing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, you know, take some time to really think about it. Mm-hmm. You know, when are you most likely to bite your nails?
Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
What's going on around you?
Right.
And once you figure out what your triggers are, then you can start to come up with ways to avoid those triggers or to cope with them in a different way.
Right. Or to replace that habit with something else.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So instead of, you know, if you're biting your nails because you're stressed, maybe you go for a walk.
Right.
Or you listen to music or you meditate or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're finding a healthier way to cope with that stress. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the next thing that Dr. Parsons talks about is taking a gradual approach.
Right.
So don't try to stop biting your nails all at once.
Yeah, it's too overwhelming for most people.
Pick one nail
Right.
and just focus on not biting that one nail. And then once you've conquered that nail, move on to the next one.
Right.
And I think this is a really good idea because it's less overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it's also more likely to be successful because you're not trying to do too much at once.
Exactly. And you're getting those little wins,
Yeah.
which is really motivating.
Right.
You know, so if you're able to stop biting one nail, then you're like, okay, I can do this. I can stop biting another nail.
That's like a challenge.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so the last thing that Dr. Parsons talks about is that sometimes nail biting can be a sign of a deeper issue,
Right.
like anxiety or OCD or something like that.
Yeah. And so if you've tried all of these things, you know, you've tried keeping your nails short, you've tried the bitter tasting nail polish, you've tried replacing the habit, you've figured out your triggers, you've taken a gradual approach, and you're still biting your nails, then it might be worth talking to a therapist or a counselor.
Yeah, because there might be something else going on
Right.
that needs to be addressed.
That you need help with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for our deep dive on nail biting.
Right.
Hopefully you found this helpful. And if you are a nail biter, you know, don't beat yourself up about it.
Yeah.
Just try some of these tips and see what works for you.
Exactly.
And if you're still struggling, you know, don't be afraid to reach out for help. So I'm curious, and this is something I want you guys to think about. If nail biting is kind of a way to self-soothe, what other ways are there to self-soothe that are maybe a little bit healthier? And we can talk about that maybe in a future episode.
That's a good one.
All right, well, that's it for today.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.